You're tuned in to the only all-sports talk network in the Middle East, IsraelSportsRadio.com.
From the ACI studios in downtown Talpiot, Jerusalem, it's Louis Live! Now here's your host, me, Ari Louis. Good evening, everyone out there. Hope everyone is doing well. We're proud to broadcast from our nation's capital tonight. We're here till midnight. If you want to join me on the program from the Holy Land, 02-563-1492, and in the old country, 301-850-2484. Jam-packed show tonight. We're going to have Dina Pinner at 10:30 to analyze my handwriting, to find out how psychotic I am. 11 o'clock, Jim Williams from the Washington Examiner. 11:30, Joe Robbins, frequent contributor to the Jerusalem Post. But right now, it's an honor and privilege to have our first in-studio guest of the evening, and that would be Mr. Barry Caplet. How are you doing today, sir?
Fine. How are you?
Doing great. Very happy to have you on. And I know you have some exciting ideas. You're certainly well known for being very innovative and creative. Tell us some of the ideas you have to improve the sports community and Israel in general.
Keep the flattery up. It sounds great. One of the things I was wondering, working with the idea of, since I'm in the touring business, is when we bring these teams into Israel to play various international games or whatever in Israel, to show the players from the other countries what Israel is really like, so they don't listen to the media representation of what Israel is like, to show them, if they're not Jewish, to show them where they were, where Jesus walked, where he walked in the Kinneret, where he was baptized and everything. And if they were Jewish, to show them the Jewish heritage here in Israel. Doesn't seem to be much of that done right now. I talked to that gentleman last week.
Errol, yes, it is a rugby show.
The rugby, who seemed to like the idea of dealing with bringing some of these groups that come into Israel to play. I believe it's in Haifa.
Yeah, a lot of them play there.
Stay an extra 3 or 4 days and 5 days or whatever, and see what Israel's really like. If they're non-Jews, we'll take them to all the non-Jewish places. If they are luckily Jews, we'll take them to the Jewish places. That was just an idea that when we were talking that he seemed to like. Regretfully, there's some reasons why we can't talk to him right away. But maybe the end of next week or the week after that, I'll get over to Tel Aviv to their home office, and we can sit down and put some basic programs together and see if we can't enlighten some of these international teams as to what Israel is really like, that it's not the harbinger of crime and occupation that the world seems to think right now.
Yeah, it's a little bit different than what CNN said about us. Now, you talked about the touring business that you worked in there. How long have you been in the touring business?
Really not very long. I was with one company from September of last year through July 4th. I've changed organizations. I've opened up my own company and gone to work with a company that's been here about 13 years or so, called loveisraeltours.com. That seems to be able to customize to a great extent the tours. We work with one person to 100 people. It doesn't matter if we have one car, one bus, 5 buses, whatever it takes, to show them what the entire country is like. And we, right now, we are predominantly working with non-Jewish groups, although there are more and more Jewish groups coming. The basic problem is that so many of the Jewish people have family here that they've been coming so often that they don't need us.
Right.
But in reality, they do, because there are bigger areas than the kibbutzim or the moshavim or the cities where their relatives live that they probably haven't seen. They may read about them, but they have to see them. We show people in the Shomron and Judea, Samaria, in that area, and of course north. We go south to a lot if they want to We take them to Petra if they want to Jordan. If they want to go to Egypt right now, we have to talk about that.
Right, yeah, that's a little negotiable.
And right now we even have to talk about a lot because of what just happened to the bus.
Right.
And looking on the news just recently, they haven't caught him yet. So they're still chasing him in the Negev. So hopefully they'll find him.
Yeah, B'ezras Hashem, they'll catch them soon. And I want you to go more on the point of the non-Jewish tourists that come, because a lot of times when the Christian groups or whatever it might be, they have such joy and excitement of being here. Sometimes they're more than Jewish people have
More
here,
than Jewish people. They seem to really love coming to Israel and just seeing the places that Jesus was at. They love to go to the northern part of Israel, especially the Galilee, where Jesus spent so much time, and going to the places like Tzipora and Caesarea, and going on to the Lake Kinneret and going across the Negev, and then coming back and heading south and being baptized. That seems to be the turning point of their time here, is when they're actually able to be baptized in the Jordan River. Being Jewish, I of course am not baptized, but the last time I was up there with the group, my shoes were baptized. So that I could take pictures of them, I had to get them wet. And so the pastor that took them and baptized them said that my shoes were baptized. So I guess that makes me a tenth non-Jew and 9/10 Jewish. Although it's a very interesting experience to talk to these people afterwards. I had a group from Luxembourg that of people between 21 and 30 that had a whole different picture of what Israel was really like before they came. And like I told them, I said, I want you to be able to ask me better questions when you're ready to leave. Well, they didn't really ask me better questions when they left, but I've gotten a heck of a lot of questions since then.
Sometimes they think when they go back, right?
When they think they go back, they sat and they were able to digest what they saw and what they learned and what they participated in. They were able to ask some very intelligent questions, and not necessarily about the political situation here in Israel. It was more about the relationship between the Catholics and the Jews. And they realize that now they see that this is the area that has the biggest growth in Christianity in the Middle East.
Right.
Mainly because we don't kill them.
Right. They have the freedom to practice their religion here.
Like they are in other countries right now. We give them free access to their places of worship, and they appreciate it. They hear about it, they wonder about it, but then when they get here and see it and participate and actually live it, they learn to appreciate, and their ideas and feelings about Israel completely change.
Do you ever get questions regarding security, and even more to that point, realizations from the people on the tour groups?
They're all afraid at first about coming. They write us and ask us, is it safe? Is it safe? This one group was very nervous because of the bombing over by the Takanat Merkazit. And it's like near Barakat, the mayor of Jerusalem said, 30 minutes later, we were all back doing our thing. People heard it at the Shuk. They heard the blast. They said it was a bomb. The Shuk, I understand, cleared out, and 30 minutes later, everybody was back. And you learn to live with it, and you learn that it's going to happen. But it doesn't. We do not allow it to change our lives. And when they come and they see that their soldiers, we have more soldiers per square inch walking around with rifles and pistols than I think any other country. And this impresses them because we do have such a high regard for security. And once they get here, they don't, we tell them, we're not going to take you somewhere where you're going to get shot at. Because mainly, let's face it, I don't want to be shot at. The guides don't want to be shot at, neither do bus drivers. We're not going to take them somewhere where it's not going to be safe.
Right.
And that's why I think the tourist industry here in Israel is so successful. We're going to have close to 4 million tourists this year.
Wow.
We had over 3.2 million last year. We'll have close to 4 million this year. The biggest problem we're facing is hotel rooms.
Not having enough hotel rooms. Right?
Well, at certain times of the year, Easter, Christmas, various holidays. We have last year there was a tremendous shortage because Chol HaMoed, the last day of Chol HaMoed Pesach, and Easter fell on the same day.
Right.
There were no rooms in Israel from the north to the south. We tried to book a group of 20 and couldn't find anything because nobody anywhere had any rooms available. Everything was booked. There are more hotels being built. It's going to take a while. I think some of the monies for hotels may end up going towards the relief of the tent cities and all, but I'm not going to get into that. The one thing that I try to say in my spiel or my talk to the people, especially the non-Jews, we're not going to talk about politics. The wall that's built between us and the Palestinians, that's there to keep the terrorists out, to keep the bombers out. And that's it. We don't get into the political ramifications on either side. People have tried to start discussions on it, and we instruct our tour guides that if they want to get into that kind of discussion, that makes a whole different tour. If somebody wants to do a tour and wants to talk about the politics, we'll be more than happy to set them up that way. But it's either one way or the other. It's almost impossible to set it up both ways. We do try to let them talk to a Palestinian. If they want to talk to a Muslim, if they want to go to Beersheba, or they want to go to Bethlehem, we'll arrange it. If they want to go to Jericho, we'll arrange it. It takes a little bit to arrange because you can't always have a Jewish bus driver or a Jewish tour guide, but things can be done and can be worked into a schedule. So we can pretty well customize the way they want. They want politics, we'll give them politics. Most of them that we talk to want the religious aspect of the country, not the politics. And I think that's one of the best ways to counteract what they see and what they hear on the media in the rest of the world. When my wife and I went back to the States for 3 weeks, we were utterly amazed by the number of people that couldn't believe what they were hearing from the
other media outlets.
Other media outlets.
Right.
I'm not going to say that they were Democrats or Republicans, but every one of our friends that we talk to are changing their votes from one side to the other. They're trying to make more informed decisions and are trying to do what's best for Israel. I don't believe all the polls that are out there. I think my peer group in the United States is a pretty good idea, pretty good even keel of what's going on there. And Israel is becoming a part of their life. Some of them don't want to come because they are afraid. And no matter what you say to them, they're never going to not be afraid. But there are so many more of them now that want to come to Israel and see what it is, who don't have friends or relatives here, who haven't had the need to come to Israel. They want to come. Regretfully, it happened during, this turn of events happened during a economic downturn in the United States, and a lot of them can't afford it, but they're saving for it. I have three children, two of which want to come, and that's what their main goal is right now, is saving money so that they can come for at least 2 weeks to start with, because we told them, you come for 4 or 5 days, you're not going to see anything because you travel 2 days in the airplane, a day here and a day back, and catch cold, and you're not able to go and see very much in just a couple of days. So, we'd like to see you come for, I'd like to see trips here for a land portion, 8 days minimum, up to 12, 13 days. I have to take into consideration people have vacations or they have jobs, and they can't always take 3 weeks off or 4 weeks off. So you'll come this time for 8 days, and come back next year or the year after and another 8 days. But you can, we can plan you 19-day trips and never see the same thing twice. So that's what that's what I'm here for. I would like to see this sports idea come to fruition, and I'd like to see it start with the rugby. I'm not a rugby fan, although I did watch a game that was televised a couple of weeks ago, and I could never play rugby because I wouldn't want to have my head smashed like they are. It reminds me of Australian football,
Right.
but harder.
Yeah, it's a lot harder.
A little harder, but it was it's a fascinating game that these guys go out there and play for as long as they do. I'd like to see them come here, and they would be great ambassadors for us, because I think once they saw Israel and what the real Israel was like, I think they would become more of our ambassadors, other than coming here and trying to beat us at rugby or basketball or soccer or football, as it's called in the States or here, whatever.
Now, what are some of the other sports you like in addition to rugby?
Actually, the only other sport I've been watching are my Kansas City Royals getting their beaten. They let the Yankees win their their division.
Take the division lead, I believe.
To take the division lead by losing 9-7. High-scoring game. They still lost by 2, but they're 13.5 out now.
So you don't think they make a comeback?
I don't think they'll make a comeback. If they were at 11.5 comeback, I think they'd pull who was it? The Giants?
In the early 90s.
In the early 90s, pulled an 11.
And the Braves did it against the Giants, and the Braves did it against the Dodgers 91 and 93.
Yeah.
They were 9.5 back.
There was a team that won 9.5 or 11 behind and came back to win. I don't think the Royals would do it this year, although they are getting better. They have a better record than they had last year, but yet they're not quite as far behind as they were last year either.
Right now,
You've got the stats right there. So.
They're 14.5 behind the Tigers.
Oh, now they're 14.5?
Yeah, and
What'd they do, lose again?
They must have. They probably lost during the show, I think. Records 51-73, winning percentage of 4.11.
Well, that's a lot higher than they were last year. If you can look back, I think they ended up at 3-something last year.
Oh, goodness gracious. Now, they had Zach Greinke, though, a couple years ago on the Cy Young.
Well, they had him, but
now he's not there anymore. He's with Milwaukee.
We're a good stepping stone.
Right.
For people.
To help other teams.
To help other teams. I mean, it's amazing to me that they kept Brett, as far as, that he played his entire career.
George Brett did, yes, and won a World Series in '85, of course.
Right, and of course he also ran after the
umpire
with his
the pine tar.
But listen, there have been a lot of original Royals that have made it big in the larger teams, the more how do you say it, financially stable. We do not have a large
bank account,
and we only have a stadium only holds about, I think, 40,000. We do well in football with the Chiefs in their 77,000 seat Arrowhead Stadium. I haven't followed them too much because during that period of the year, I'm just kind of busy doing other things.
I have the record last year. The record, you want to guess how many wins they had last year?
I don't know. Did they get 50 wins last year?
They got 50.
Oh,
They didn't get to 70, though. They got 67.
67. Well, that's not even 50%.
It's only, let's see. Let's figure that. It's 30 games be below 500, I think.
Yeah.
67.95.
So what did they
Something
end
like
up at? 3 what?
They were, let's see, they were fifth in the AL Central, and mathematically, goodness gracious, let's see. Now again, 67 and, let me check one more time, 67.95. All right. Well, I'll just ask Google, what percentage is 67?
Oh, you're going to ask me to do it in my head, huh?
I can't do that.
I can't either.
Let's see.
Oh, well. It's bad, whatever it was.
Yeah, it's definitely not a good percentage.
It's not. It's not as good as it is right now.
No, so are you happy then with the process? Do you think then next year they'll improve and
Well, they're bettering themselves each year. It's just I would like them to do it a little bit faster. I mean, I'd like to be around when they won another
World Series with 26
World
years?
Series. Yeah, it's and they can beat St. Louis for that too.
Had to do that. Ouch. Well, on that note,
they called that the I-70 series,
right?
Because it's
right across each other. And as you know, and I know, the Cardinals were robbed. It was one of the worst calls in Major League Baseball history in Game 6. Everybody knows
God,
that.
I've heard that for how many years?
Probably 26 years.
But you know something? It's who won that counts.
Well, in your defense and against my team, the Cardinals did not show up for Game 7. I believe they lost 10-0, something to that effect. So even if the bad call happens, you got to roll with it, and you got to show up for Game 7.
Right.
Still a bad call, though. Anyway, okay, so, Mr. Bear Kaplan, how can everyone get in contact with you?
Okay, well, the easiest way to get a hold of me is to contact me by emailing me at Barry, Barry, at loveisraeltours.com. That's just the way it's spelled. loveisraeltours.com. And that'll come right to me. And I will get back to them as soon as possible. I will say that I take my messages in order.
Okay.
So if you're number 2, you will not be more than number 4 or 5 by the time I talk to you.
Right, but the best way to get contact, the quicker they contact you, the quicker they contact back.
That's right. The quicker they contact me, the more I can the better I can talk to them, get ideas of what they're looking for, come back with an itinerary, battle back and forth with them as to what they do, what they want to see, how they can see it. It was cute that the group from Luxembourg wanted to go from the Kinneret to Tel Aviv and then back to Tel Aviv one morning. And just, and to see things on the way. Israel is small, the size of New Jersey.
Right.
But it does take a little while to go from one city to another.
From top to bottom, how much does it take? I've heard different.
I don't know. It depends on how fast you drive. And I would say, 8 hours, 9 hours, probably more, maybe 10 hours.
Wow.
It depends on how you drive, what road you take, which way do you take from the north to the south. There's not a lot of ways to go from Jerusalem down to Eilat, but there's several ways to go from the north. And how far? Where are you going to go? Are you telling me from the corner of the Golan down to Eilat, or are we talking about coming from the Lebanese border down to Eilat? So it can vary. Most of our trips we show are Masada and that area north. It's a lot of driving and only seeing desert from Masada down to Eilat. there's a couple of kibbutzim and all to stop and see, but you spend a lot of time sitting in a bus. I think the bus ride from Masada is like 4 hours, so somewhere in that area.
Okay, now
maybe only 3.5. But
it is part of it due to the roads as well, because in Jersey, if you're going anywhere in Jersey, in the state of Jersey, it's not going to take you 9 hours, 9, 10, 11 hours. So is part of the roads need to improve, better transportation?
Well, as they improve them, they're fine. But like getting down to Masada, for instance, you have a lot of curved roads, so you can't drive as fast as you would from Masada to Eilat because you're on straighter roads. But let's face it, there are speed limits in Israel.
It's suggested.
It's suggested speed limits. A lot of people follow them. A lot of people don't. I like to joke about what an instant is. An instant is a time between when the guy honks the horn behind you and the light turns green. That's an instant here, and because people drive very quickly in Israel, and we get where we're going. I sometimes wonder if we're trying to put our lives ahead, and because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, being surrounded by hundreds of millions of people that want to slit our throats. So,
all right, now before we let you go, I got the percentage thanks to PC Paul Cirkin. Appreciate it. That is 41% last year. That was their
year, 41%.
Yeah, 67 wins out of 162 game schedule is 41%, and right now they're at 41%, 41.1%.
See, we're better.
It is better.
We are better.
It is a little
what
bit better.
more do you want from us?
All I can ask for people is improvement. Barrett Kaplan, thanks so much for being on Louis Live tonight.
It's been my pleasure. I was a little skeptical because I wondered, what are we going to talk about?
Yeah, you thought I said 15 minutes. You're like, I don't know, and we got you for 30, so that's pretty cool.
Did we talk that long? I'll be done.
All right,
well,
ladies.
Thank you very much. I hope to talk to you again.
Absolutely.
Maybe we'll have some good news about bringing the teams to Israel and how successful that'll be.
That'd be great. We would love to have you back to discuss that, and that'd be awesome. It'd be a lot of fun. We'll take a quick commercial break, everybody. Be back with Dina Pinner after this.
Offering the best of Israel at the best price, Shalom Israel Tours can help you make your next trip to Israel the adventure of a lifetime. Shalom Israel Tours will customize the trip to Israel for your family or group. Specializing in bar mitzvah packages, outdoor adventure vacations, wine tours, and more, Shalom Israel Tours is sure to inspire. So whether you're looking for a customized trip, a day tour, or a car rental, Shalom Israel Tours is here to help. Email us at inspire@shalomisraeltours.com or click the banner on the Israel Sports Radio homepage, and soon you will find yourself in Israel. That's Shalom Israel Tours, www.shalomisraeltours.com.
Are you ready to get serious about your health and fitness? iFit trainers provide one-on-one personal training and put together the best fitness program to get the right results for you. Find your I in Fit. We offer certified personal trainers with elite athletic experience and flexible hours at the convenience of your own home. Classes are offered in English and in Hebrew. We serve Jerusalem and the surrounding areas. For more information and to schedule your first workout session, call Alyssa at 054-759-7280 or email Alyssa, ELISSA, at i-fit.co.il. Visit us at www.i-fit.co.il or click on the iFit banner on the Israel Sports Radio homepage.
Feeling overwhelmed with all you have to do? Let your personal shopper help. Connie is an experienced gift shopper and can help free up your day. Connie can assist you in finding the perfect gift for your upcoming simchas or pick up those light items at the grocery. And don't forget, if you are in the area of the Israel Center on Karen HaYesod, stop by on Monday or Tuesday between 8:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. to check out all the great gifts Connie has to offer. For more information, call 02-654-2155 or email Connie@netvision.net.il. Don't forget to check out her great website at www.conniesgifts.com.
Israel Sports Dynamics specializes in football consulting, equipment, uniforms, and more. Great brands such as Nike, Russell Athletics, Shutt Sports Products, and many more. Just one call away. With over 30 years coaching experience with university and professional athletes, Terry Hill, owner of ISD, can advise you for all your sports needs. Call 054-581-3248. That's 054-581-3248, or visit our website at www.isdisrael.com. If that's not easy enough, click on the ISD banner on the Israel Sports Radio website and be part of the game.
Are you having computer issues? You just got to try these guys. Tiger Computer Services, 050-708-1599. All of Jerusalem is talking about them. They're super experienced, efficient, reliable, and honest. Their lead technician has over 20 years experience and holds a BS in computer science from a top American university. Mickey from Macavia says, I will let anybody touch my computers except for Tiger. So call Tiger Computer Services, 050-708-1599. Believe me, you'll be happy that you did. Ruben from Baca says, I've had many technicians in the past, and these guys are some of the best I've seen. Laptops, desktops, netbooks, Macintoshes, iPods, iPhones. All hardware and software problems, advice, and instruction. The next time you need a very experienced and honest computer technician, call Tiger Computer Services at 050-708-1599. Mention Israel Sports Radio for a 15% discount for all new customers. All right, back here on Louis Live. Thanks again to Mr. Barry Kaplan coming in studio, talking about his tour experience. And on the line now, someone who will probably freak me out. She analyzed my handwriting, so I'm a little nervous, and that would be the lovely Dina Penner. Dina, welcome to Louis Live.
Hi, Ari.
Hi, how's it going?
It's all good. How you doing?
Doing great. Now, so the audience, if they do not know, again, I've talked about this throughout the week, but I will remind them again. I wrote you 2 different notes. I left them in the studio. I have not told you any real detailed information about myself. We've known each other for a while, but not really, really close. I didn't tell you.
I've never met you.
What's that?
I've never met you.
No, we met a few times.
You once.
We met July 4th at the ACI Vedic crowd.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's a great point. Also, we only met once. Very brief conversation. You were on my show a couple weeks ago, and we spoke through Facebook a few times, but nothing detailed personally. So everyone should know that. And I'm a pretty honest guy. I try to be. So I'm not playing any games. I'm not trying to promote your like a psychic business is yours. I didn't get any money from you. These are all correct. No, I did not give you any advanced information. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely. No advanced information whatsoever.
Okay, so... And,
now, I just need to ask you, on
sure.
the first note you wrote, on the back it says 05 Long Hot Summer and Pump Up the Volume. Is that you?
Yeah, what that is, I'm not sure if I wrote that. I probably did. Those were songs for the Off the Beaten Track guys.
But it is you, but you wrote it.
I think I did. I'm pretty sure I did. It might have been Steve who wrote it down, but I probably did write it. I mean, wouldn't you be able to tell? You could tell if the handwriting's similar, right?
It is similar, but you American men in your late 20s can often have similar handwriting.
Okay.
Did you also write Smith's Panic and in brackets YouTube, or that's someone else?
I think that was someone else.
Yeah, I was hoping so. Otherwise, you are schizophrenic. Otherwise, I would send you for some very serious.
So let the fun games begin. Let's do this right now. What did you analyze, Dr. Dina? Wait, before we should let everyone know. Now, you, in general, cannot tell someone's age, nationality, and sex. Is that correct?
Yeah, graphology can't tell age, nationality, gender. Yep. Yeah.
And also, we should just say real quick, we should ask so the audience knows, how long have you done this?
So I've been doing it professionally for about 15 years. My grandfather taught me when I was about 10 years old. And I didn't really think much of it, and then I did it to one of my teachers, and my parents were called into the school, at which point I realised it was quite serious and that I probably had quite a feel for it. And my grandfather explained to me that it's great, but it's not something that you should share with too many people.
Right, because it can freak people out, they can get upset and everything.
Yeah.
And when you know something about someone and they don't want you to know that, who knows how they react, so you got to be careful, right?
Mm-hmm.
But,
Absolutely.
my thinking is, say, if I was that good at that type of thing, of reading people and so on, I could...
You're not.
Well, right, okay, we'll get that 1 minute. I can read, thank you very much, I could then theoretically read their reaction, so then I'll know what's happens, what's going to happen. That's what I want to master this. I want to get power and domination and so on and so on. Okay.
No, because you're not a critical thinker.
Okay, let's do the analyzation. Giddy up. So step 1, I'm not a critical thinker.
You're not a critical. You're sweet. You're very sweet and you're kind and you like to think good of people and you like to think good of the situation and you're a little bit naive because of that. It's like you've seen stuff. You're not naive in that you're not naive in that you think that everything's perfect. You're naive in that you've seen bad things and you've seen people experience bad things, and yet you still refuse to believe that people are fundamentally not good. You fundamentally think that people are kind and nice. Which is ridiculous.
Interesting.
You like to fit in. You're kind and funny and likable. You never deliberately offend people, but you actually do manage to offend people, but never, ever deliberately. It's always by accident. You're moody. I never knew this. You're moody, and you hide it. You like to hide it from people. You don't like people to know that you are, but you are moody.
Yeah, that's for sure true. Now we'll talk more about this because some stuff I kind of don't agree, but the moody thing is 100%. And thank you for sharing that because it's true. I do try to hide it.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you don't want people to know. Yeah.
Because it's a weird thing, Well, partly is if I'm not in a good mood, I don't necessarily want to share it with everybody because then they'll be in a bad mood, and I don't want to kind of spread the vibrations. I want to keep kind of everything positive. So I definitely hear that point. Okay, what else do we have, Dr. Dina?
Halavaya had a PhD. You get down, and other people don't understand why, and often it's because you're a very sensitive boy, and you get you're quite sensitive to what people say to you and how people are around you, and the people around you don't know that. So you get down, and people not only won't notice, but they won't. Even if you were to tell them, they wouldn't understand why.
Okay, that's a great point. It's true that my sensitivity, although I've gotten a little bit of a harder show in the past couple of years, but early, especially like early 20s, and when I had a TV show in the States, I was very, very sensitive if people criticized the show, especially if they thought I was a hypocrite because I'm an observant Jew, and then if I did something in the show that was offensive, like you talked about offending people, then they would have a problem with that, and I would have a problem with that, and be very, very sensitive to that. So that's pretty much spot on.
People do get offended by you. You don't ever do it deliberately, but people do get offended by you. People misunderstand your jokes, and they misunderstand your you're not the smoothest with the ladies.
That's true. Because, but now, can't you tell in the writing sample that I'm pretty honest?
Well, it's not so much that you are very well. It's not so much that you're honest, and you're not completely honest. You like to think that you are, but you're not completely honest. You're not completely honest with yourself about certain things about yourself.
Okay.
But you definitely are yourself. You are absolutely yourself in all situations. And you kind of don't really attune that for people who don't know you. You can... so you'll go... I would love to see you at a singles event because I have this image of you going up to women and making some ridiculous jokes that I would find hysterical.
Right.
Because I listen to you on the show and because I have a sense of who you are. But of the women just sort of looking at you, just being like, who is this man? What is he doing?
Yeah, I've had a couple of experiences. For example, I find Flatch's humor very funny. and I will do that. I'll start chatting, and then I'll start making flatulence jokes, and most girls will kind of give me a look or whatever. Now here's something I will disagree with you about. You say that I do not intentionally mean to offend people. I kind of do, I think. So that's what I think we disagree with. It's not on accident. Now, maybe there are times where I go farther than I intended to go, or people. For example, I was on a program one time, and at the end of the program, I made fun of everybody in the room. I did a roast, and I was trying to, I was making fun of them. That was intentional, but I didn't mean to. Apparently, I really hurt their feelings. I didn't mean to go that far. I wasn't saying anything too mean, but they took it the wrong way. So I understand that. So the women thing, yes, that is true. Basically, I will. Kind of like my way of breaking the ice is say something offensive or rude or getting a flatulence humor.
You see, I have a feeling. My feeling was that you're the youngest in the family. That's how you come across.
So the thing with that, I am the oldest, but a lot of people think I'm the younger brother because my younger brother is more mature than me, and I will admit that. And smarter, and he's learned, for example, to give you an idea, like kind of more. No, I don't want to say, basically like he's been in yeshiva for a long time, and I couldn't really fit in yeshiva because I don't like the authority figure type of thing, and I don't like the constructive nature, and it's hard for me to kind of set one thing. So a lot of people, though, have said that he's the older brother. That's what they think.
Because what I put here, and what I really feel is that your family, there's no family expectation for you to grow up. It's like you haven't quite hit maturity, but that's kind of okay. It's like your family, it's okay. Your family expectation is that you're going to be like a little bit of a kid and make jokes and make stupid jokes, and that's kind of okay. Like your family kind of accepts you for who you are. They don't expect you. They're not waiting for you to step under the chuppah tomorrow. And they're not waiting for you to start earning millions, because they kind of just let you get on and do whatever it is that's right for you, and go through your own process and do your own stuff. And they kind of and that's okay.
You know, it's interesting to bring that up because it was a few months ago, and this will actually be a pretty funny flatulence story. So I was staying with my brother at the Or Sameach Yeshiva, and I wanted to take a nap before we were about to go to Shalom Zachar on Friday night, so I'd stayed in someone's room and, farting away and everything and giggling while it's going on. And the guy that's normally in the room, he walks in and he's like, "Who are you?" And I tell him who I am, and he said, "Okay," and he leaves. He then tells my brother comes in the room and says, "Yeah, we gotta go." And he told me what happened, that the guy complained about how bad it smelled. And when he went in after I left, we could hear him open the window and spray the air freshener. And I laughed about that probably for a good 15, 20 minutes straight. And my brother's like, "Come on, man, you own a radio station. You can't be laughing at this." And that just made me laugh even more. So very interesting that. And my brother started to laugh too. Like he kind of accepted that I find flatulence funny, and I found the situation to be quite humorous.
Oh, compose yourself, Dina, compose yourself. That is absolutely hilarious. And the thing is that I feel like, look, you're not going to meet her tomorrow. She's not rocking up tomorrow. You know she's not. But I do feel that she also finds it absolutely hysterical. And I feel like you're going to learn over time to be a little bit smoother. You've got a very good heart, and you're not a cynic. You're really, really not a cynic. And I feel like she does too, and she will also find that kind of thing absolutely hilarious. And she'll just kind of rock it. Like, you'll just recognise each other.
Right.
I do feel that, and I feel like your family sort of knows that too. I feel like your family just kind of lets you get on with it.
So it's interesting. I'm not sure if you tell this or not through the writing, but I actually dated a girl for a while, and she thought flatulence humor was pretty funny.
I mean, look, if you're going to be like the person who's with you needs to be similar to you. You're not one of those people for whom opposites attract. The person who's going to be with you needs to be similar to you.
But there can be some differences. Obviously, it doesn't have to be like a perfect match, right?
I mean, there is no such thing.
Right, okay.
Thank God. Could you imagine living with you for the rest of your life?
Well, can't you tell in the writing that I love myself?
You definitely do. You try a little bit hard to fit in.
See, now, again, that's something where I disagree, because I kind of enjoy my independence. I think, though, sometimes with certain groups, I might want to kind of chat with them, be friendly with them, but I've generally been an independent guy. Like, I never fit into groups, but you're saying maybe I tried to.
Yeah, you definitely try to, and you definitely don't. It's true, you don't fit into groups, and you're also not, you're not really a stereotype either. You don't fit.
Right. Yeah.
In a very good way.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's interesting, because usually they think that's a bad thing to always be outside the box, but it's, again, it was part of me not going to yeshiva because I couldn't really fit in. Also, I graduated college early because I wasn't fitting in with that crowd, and I didn't like high school. You know, I've always been a guy that kind of did my own thing. So, that is very interesting you say that.
You don't fit, and you'd quite like to. There's a part of you that has been taught for many, 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 many years to contort yourself a little bit to fit into institutions. And I feel like now you've still got a little bit of that left, and you don't want to be a total outsider, and yet you are completely independent and completely free-thinking, and you are who you are, and it's almost like you're relieved. It's almost like you're waiting for somebody to go, actually, no, you have to go back to high school. No, actually, we are going to confine you. And
wait, can you elaborate on that? So basically, I would really want to be free. I'm happy being free, but I think somehow, some way, someone is going to make me not free, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, very interesting.
Yeah.
What does it say about my ego?
Say interesting.
Doesn't sound good.
I kind of haven't got enough. I hope that this is you, because if it's not you, then your ego is interesting, because on the one hand it's very well filmed and it's absolutely fine, and it's saying, I am good and I'm here. And yet at the same time, you're a very sensitive boy, and you don't like feedback, and you don't like being told if you do something wrong. So it's an interesting thing that's going on with your ego. It feels like it's in process.
Okay.
Your ego feels like it's still in process. Well, it's like on the one hand, you're really immature. You really are 12. You're prepubescent, and yet on the other hand, you are intelligent and mature and sensitive and ready to be a father, which is a very interesting juxtaposition. It's very rare that one sees that kind of thing, and you feel you feel protective. You feel ready to protect somebody.
Right, absolutely. Absolutely, right on.
Yeah, and it's very interesting. It's a very interesting mix. I'd be interested to see like a whole page of your notes that you don't write specifically for me.
Okay.
A whole page of your notes would tell us much more about that, because it's not something that one often sees.
Now, I want you to go into the part of, if I don't want to be told what to do, then wouldn't that make me arrogant? Isn't that like an egotistical thing to not want to be told what to do?
You've got a lot of guilt going on.
Guilt?
Yeah.
So, because I don't want to be told what to do, or are you saying guilt just in general?
I mean, I've got a feeling. I just want to tell the listeners that you wrote me 2 lines.
Right. And it's very impressive that you get all this from 2 lines. But now also, so with a bigger sample, you can learn more. I'm actually kind of curious how that even works, because isn't my writing's basically going to be the same, right? Or does it change a little bit with a bigger page?
When you write it specifically for me, when you write it specifically for the person who's reading it, you put on certain affectations. I mean, one puts on certain affectations. Has a very specific way of writing for another person. So it's not quite as freestyly as if you were writing, as if you gave me a sheet of paper where you're just written your notes for the show. I think your written notes for the show would reveal a whole lot more. Whereas what I'm noticing here is how you are in public. So how are you in public? You want to give a good impression. You want to fit in. You don't want to be the weirdo. You want to be you want to be a little bit smooth, and yet you are completely yourself and make completely inappropriate jokes and offend people by accident, and people think you're a weirdo, and that's the impression that I'm getting. I'm getting the impression of the person who reveals themselves to the public. What I get much more of was your private self. If I saw something that you'd written only for yourself.
Okay, and we can definitely write another note because I'm very interested. And a few more minutes here with you. I want to go to the guilt thing.
I want to see the notes that you've written for yourself for the show.
Okay.
For any show, just write notes that you've written for your show.
Okay. You know what I'll try to do? I'll try to dig up a note that's a little older before I had this idea, and that'll be more honest. But since we still have you on for a few minutes, I want to go to the guilt thing. I'm intrigued by that guilt that I did something wrong, guilt of not doing something correct. Now, are you able to tell anything about that? I
feel like there's guilt about something that you haven't quite managed to do yet. That you have this feeling that you should have done something else, or that you should be doing something else. I feel like you've got a should, that like you're not quite whole with the life choices that you made, and that you feel like you should be doing something. It might be around religion. It is connected to religion, but I don't really know what it is. But you definitely have guilt going on. That comes from where you come from. Okay,
interesting. Where I come from? You mean my background, or?
Yeah, your family and the place where you're from.
Okay, all right. I have some ideas, but I kind of want to think that out. It's very interesting, very, very interesting. Okay, so all right, so let's go through this again. Not smooth with the ladies. I got a good heart. Very sensitive. Something I feel guilty about something I haven't accomplished yet. I offend people on accident, which again I disagree because I say it's on purpose. But maybe deep down I really don't want to offend them, and I don't know. But
yeah, because you want to fit in, and you've got a good heart.
Okay, I hear that. All right, and I want to fit in, but generally I don't. People think I'm a weirdo. It's pretty good.
And you're not as clever as you think you are.
I'm not as clever as I think I am. Ouch.
Who is this cow? Who invited her on my show?
Well, yeah, but now I'm sensitive, so I don't want to hear that. Anything about anything about temper or violence or anything like that? Because people don't really tell me I have a temper. I always feel like I do have a temper. Do you see anything like that? This is a long delay.
Yeah, you experience yourself as getting very angry, but the reality is that you don't. And that's why you had a long delay. That's why I waited, because you experience yourself as somehow having some kind of underlying fury, and you experience yourself as somebody not quite falling down, not quite Michael Douglas in Falling Down. You know which film I'm talking about?
No, what movie is that?
He has like a difficult morning, and then he goes into McDonald's, or obviously they don't name it as McDonald's in the film, and he goes, I'd like a this and a that, and they go, no, I'm sorry, the Happy Meal comes as this and that, and he goes, but I don't want this, I just want this and that, and he takes out a shotgun and shoots the display behind the server, and he basically just goes on a rampage shooting things. I'm not sure if he kills people, but he goes on a rampage destroying property and absolutely destroying everything, because life just gets him down and he just gets so completely furious. Postal. He goes postal.
Okay, and that's not
what you call it in America.
Right, and that's not me though, right?
No, but
okay.
I do think you've got this idea about yourself that you can get very, very angry, and it's not really true. You're not some kind of bubbling fury, bubbling mess of fury waiting just to lash out and kill people. You're not that at all. You get irritated by things. You do get irritated by things, and you do have a little bit of short man syndrome in looking at this writing. I only realised that you were short looking at the writing because there was just everything was about, I am big enough! And then I realised that it must be that you're short.
I am short. I'm 5'6". 5'6", 5'7". But I mean, I'm actually very proud of that. I used to hate being short, but I actually enjoy it because when I play basketball, they don't take me seriously, and then I whoop on them. All right. I would love to talk more. We'll definitely do this again, Bizarre Hashem. I'll try to dig out one of these longer notes that I've had before, and you'll analyze me further. But again, I like last time you said I disagree with some stuff, but some stuff was pretty accurate, so I appreciate it even if it wasn't accurate. But I appreciate the time. Dina Pinner, everybody. You can catch her show Tuesdays at noon. It's live, 12 to 2 on this station, so everyone should check out that show.
I thank you.
All right, great stuff as always, Dina. We'll be in touch, and I'll wish you a good night.
I look forward to it.
All right, be well. It was Dina Pinner, everybody. Getting chats in. People like that interview. That's great, because they should have enjoyed that. Yeah, that chat was for my mom. My mom liked the interview, so that's good. My mom got to learn more about me. She knows plenty of stuff because she's my mom. All right, we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back from the Washington Examiner, Jim Williams will give us some huge breaking news in the world of college football and other good stuff. We'll be back after this.
Offering the best of Israel at the best price, Shalom Israel Tours can help you make your next trip to Israel the adventure of a lifetime. Shalom Israel Tours will customize a trip to Israel for your family or group. Specializing in bar mitzvah packages, outdoor adventure vacations, wine tours, and more, Shalom Israel Tours is sure to inspire. So whether you're looking for a customized trip, a day tour, or a car rental, Shalom Israel Tours is here to help. Email us at inspire@shalomisraeltours.com or click the banner on the Israel Sports Radio homepage, and soon you will find yourself in Israel. That's Shalom Israel Tours, www.shalomisraeltours.com.
Are you ready to get serious about your health and fitness? iFit trainers provide one-on-one personal training and put together the best fitness program to get the right results for you. Find your I in FIT. We offer certified personal trainers with elite athletic experience and flexible hours at the convenience of your own home. Classes are offered in English and in Hebrew. We serve Jerusalem and the surrounding areas. For more information and to schedule your first workout session, call Alyssa at 054-759-7280 or email Alyssa, ELISSA, at i-fit.co.il. Visit us at www.i-fit.co.il or click on the iFit banner on the Israel Sports Radio homepage.
Feeling overwhelmed with all you have to do? Let your personal shopper help. Chani is an experienced gift shopper and can help free up your day. Chani can assist you in finding the perfect gift for your upcoming simchas or pick up those light items at the grocery. And don't forget, if you are in the area of the Israel Center on Karen HaYesod, stop by on Monday or Tuesday between 8:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. to check out all the great gifts Chani has to offer. For more information, call 02-654-2155 or email chani@netvision.net.il. Don't forget to check out her great website at www.chanisgifts.com.
Israel Sports Dynamic specializes in football consulting, equipment, uniforms, and more. Great brands such as Nike, Russell Athletics, Schutt Sports Products, and many more. Just one call away. With over 30 years of coaching experience with university and professional athletes, Terry Hill, owner of ISD, can advise you for all your sports needs. Call 054-581-3248. That's 054-581-3248, or visit our website at www.isdisrael.com. If that's not easy enough, click on the ISD banner on the Israel Sports Radio website and be part of the game.
All right, back on Louis Live, as we do here every Thursday at 11 p.m. We welcome from the Washington Examiner, Jim Williams. Jim, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. How about yourself?
Doing really good, and I found some interesting stories I want to ask you about. I got to start with Miami. There apparently, Mr. Shapiro, the booster there, caused some problems. In fact, some of the players that are named in this investigation are currently playing the NFL. Doesn't look too good for them. And there's some talk out there.
Oh, you're there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Can you hear me, Jim?
I missed part of your question. I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem. Basically, with Miami, there's a whole scandal right now. The booster, Mr. Shapiro, apparently gave gifts and cars and money to former players that played in Miami at the time. Some of those players listed are playing in the NFL right now, as a matter of fact. And the NCAA apparently is going to punish Miami very severely, and I understand it could be very, very severely. So please tell us about that.
Well, from what I understand, pretty much Yahoo Sports handed the NCAA an investigation of what went on at the University of Miami with Mr. Shapiro and his alleged contributions to players and also coaches on the team. So, the NCAA is weighing just, how badly do they attack the University of Miami. I honestly do not think that Miami should get the death penalty.
And can you explain for our audience what the death penalty... So, Jim, real quick, can you explain to our audience what the death penalty means in college football?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, let me explain that. The death penalty basically means that they would and could suspend the football program or basketball program or any program that they specifically want to do. They did this in the 1970s, early 80s at Southern Methodist University in Dallas. Right after Craig James and Eric Dickerson were found guilty, along with Forrest Gregg, who was the coach at the time, of basically paying the players. And so they basically took away the football program. They ended the football program at SMU, and it took them almost 8 to 10 years to reestablish a program, and they're just now getting back to the point where they are a viable program. And at one point in time, as I said, when you have guys like Craig James and Eric Dickerson playing in your program, obviously they were at that point in time back in what used to be known as the Big 8 Conference, the Southwest Conference with Texas, and so they played, on a yearly basis with Texas and Texas A&M and Houston and that entire, conference at the time. So that's what the NCAA could do. They could go ahead and initiate the termination of the football program at the University of Miami.
And to give
what we're looking at here is. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I just want to say, also give some perspective to our audience. I was told they were close with USC and close with Ohio State, but didn't do it, and they might be looking to make an example out of someone. Is that possible?
It is possible. It is very possible. And they may do it to Miami because Miami doesn't have the alumni that Ohio State and SC does. The NCAA has a very, very, they want to act like they're going to punish people. But they, we're still, I think the jury's way out on Ohio State. I think a lot of people think, myself included, feel that Ohio State should be penalized a great deal more than what they've gotten thus far. They didn't get as bad as what happened to USC, and they did more, allegedly, than USC has. So, I believe that if they are attempting to to find a school where they could potentially extract the death penalty or come very close to it, then Miami is that school, because Miami, A, is a private school. B, it's a small school in comparison, obviously, to an Ohio State or a University of Southern California, and does have a high-profile program, but at the same time, they feel, I mean, it's almost exactly the same type of school as SMU was when they extracted the pain on them.
Okay.
And as I say, the reason go ahead.
No, sorry. Just I want the audience to know, okay, there are similar circumstances like you talked about. That was the last time it happened. It happened a long time ago, but there's a precedent for it.
There is, and the other side of the coin, the reason I would advocate they not do it is that the amount of people that are involved, even over the course of years, is less than 5% of the actual amount of people that play on the team. So what you're doing is you're penalizing
right.
an entire football team for the acts of 4, 5, maybe 7 players. I find that incredibly unfair. I also find incredibly unfair that if it isn't being done now, coaches who no longer are with the university. I mean, Al Golden just went down there to be the new head coach, left Temple to be the new head coach. Here's Al Golden with the possibility of maybe not, having a program to coach,
right.
and being hamstrung in any possible recruiting situations because of the violations. I mean, look at Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll got away scot-free.
Great point.
Out of USC. I mean, I would like to see, if the NCAA is going to ping anybody for this, I'd like to see them going after the coaches, the athletic directors, the presidents, and the people who literally are in charge of the athletic program, and finding them.
It's a great point, and this was actually talked about with a friend of mine a few hours ago when I brought with her that, Miami could get the death penalty, and she says, so players now and coaches now are going to be punished for what some people did a few years ago. How does that make sense whatsoever? And I said, hey, it doesn't make any sense. I'm just saying it could happen. Right?
Well, no, it's never made any sense. I mean, look at Jim Calipari. Every time Calipari leaves a program, it's just one step ahead of being, put on probation. He gets to go to Kentucky. Meanwhile, his last job, they're back sifting among the ashes at Memphis going, well, what happened here? So it's an unfortunate situation, and it's blatantly unfair because as your friend said, it penalizes people who had absolutely nothing to do with it. I mean, here he's got a USC program that Lane Kiffin is running that is being penalized for something that happened when Reggie Bush was playing there and Pete Carroll was the head coach. So, they're being put on, probation for something they have literally nothing to do. Most of those kids were in high school when that happened.
I wish there was some way.
It's the same case in Miami.
And I wish there was some way they could penalize the coaches and players who were involved with the player. It might be a little different since money is not supposed to be transferred to them, but maybe in a coach's contract they could write in, hey, if you're the coach of a program and there's some fine or penalty, we can take back your entire salary. I mean, something. I know that's crazy to put out there, but I'm sick and tired of these coaches doing exactly what he talked about. They're in a program like Pete Carroll. They break the rules. They leave. They have a nice NFL pro salary job, and they leave a program in ruins. It's just not right.
Well, they could, theoretically, there's a couple things they could do. They could write into a contract that if the university is financially hit by the NCAA, then there could be financial ramifications, like you're saying, with the contract that they have. In other words, they could extract cash from the coach, although it's not always the coach that's involved here. The other thing they could do is something they're pondering at the moment, and that is the situation of where if you leave a program and you were the coach at the time and there was violations, then you, as the coach, have to sit out a certain amount of years, and you cannot coach in the NCAA. Or if you choose to coach and another university decides to want to hire you, then they accept the same probation that the university that you just left got.
Okay, so I like, at least that's something. I guess it'll never be completely fair, never be 100% accurate, but that's definitely a good idea. And I guess
part of the other thing too, Ari, is that people don't realize that a lot of these young kids who are out there, who are getting money, don't have money.
Right.
Okay? And so we're talking about kids where the NCAA, if you and I, as alumni of the University of Miami, go to the University of Miami and we choose, as alumni, we're having lunch at a restaurant, we see a University of Miami player, we invite that University of Miami player, who we see all the time, over to sit down at our table. If we buy him lunch, that's a violation of the NCAA. And that kid can be...
Right, if that happens, then he could have to forfeit his college year. Right, okay. That's pretty crazy to think about. It's a little too far, right?
I think it is. I'll give you another quick example. At the University of Michigan, Chris Webber goes in to buy a sandwich from Subway. He goes in, he takes out, he buys the sandwich, brings a bag of potato chips and a soda, brings it up to the register, and he's $1.50 short. The guy that manages the place says, "Chris, go ahead and take it." He goes, No, that's okay. I won't take it. He puts back, the potato chips and something else and pays the guy the amount of money. He walks out of the Subway, turns to his left, and there is a sporting goods store. In the front window of the sporting goods store is Chris Webber's jersey from the University of Michigan, jersey number 5, which is $85.
Right.
Chris couldn't buy his own jersey.
Right.
So, we have these crazy situations where universities are making literally millions of dollars off of these kids who do not get a stipend in any way, shape, or form. I know that people say, yes, they get a scholarship. That's absolutely true. They do get a scholarship. But under the same circumstances, they are making hundreds of millions of dollars for universities, and yet they're being given nothing in return. So that allows boosters to come in and to do their work and bidding of saying, look, I understand you don't have any money. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. Does that justify it? No, it doesn't. But what it does do is it proves to you that there is, when there's a monetary situation with football and basketball, where those are the two revenue sports in the NCAA, those are the two areas where you're going to have problems.
And again, I think it's one of those situations where they have to be honest and say, our rules are too strict, and that's why these problems occur. If we lower the rules a little bit, something to the effect of give the kids a stipend, I think that a lot of these boosters and these shady people in the background will start to go away. It's a much more tempting for a kid to take money when he's starving because he cannot afford food because he's not getting a stipend, and they're not allowed to have jobs generally. Is that correct? Most of the time they can't have jobs?
No, most of the time they can't have a job.
Okay, so there you go. They cannot have money to buy certain things. So it's kind of a disaster waiting to happen. And we could talk about this all night long, but I want to actually ask you a question regarding college football. Terrell Pryor, he is going to be approved to be in the supplemental draft. So I want you to talk about that because I know there were some talks they weren't going to let him do that. What changed where he's now allowed to be in?
Well, part of the problem was that Terrell did not file the proper paperwork. In other words, he basically said he was leaving the University of, Ohio State University, and he didn't file the proper paperwork, thus saying he was actually leaving the university. Subsequently, he also, through the athletic department, did not get the waiver saying that he was no longer part of the athletic department at Ohio State University. And further, he didn't file the proper papers with the National Football League. Then there was the decision as to what exactly, how are they going to exactly get him, into the draft based on the circumstance that he had 5 games coming in the way of a suspension for the selling of the memorabilia to the tattoo parlor owner. And what happened is D. Smith got involved, the head of the NFL Players Association. And what he did is he called Commissioner Roger Goodell. He talked to Goodell about the possibility of anybody who drafts Terrell Pryor, he automatically will serve a 5-game suspension.
Interesting.
The moment he hits that team. So, whoever drafts Terrell Pryor is not going to be using him, obviously, this year, and probably he's not going to get into anybody's film room as far as working any serious work until May of next year. So it's kind of like the professional version of redshirting somebody.
Right.
He's going to be. He'll go to film. He'll be allowed to go to film studies. He'll be allowed to practice. He'll be allowed to attend meetings and attend games. He will just probably be deactivated every week from now until next season.
Okay, so I like that idea because I don't want him to get out of the 5-game suspension. So that's a pretty clever thing by Roger Goodell. Now, I see the story that, because we talk a lot of times about international sports and international basketball in particular, Georgetown goes to China on a goodwill trip, but then they get in a bench-clearing brawl. What's this going to do for sports international relations?
Well, it's not a good day for Georgetown from that standpoint.
I'm looking at some of these photos. It's brutal. One guy's on the ground, and there are 2 people kicking him. We've seen NBA fights. It generally punches, maybe. I mean, they're usually broken up pretty quick. NBA players, for some reason, can't really seem to fight. I don't know why. And here, they're stomping on this guy. I mean, this is very serious stuff. So go ahead. I don't want to take your thunder.
I know John Thompson III, and the last thing I would want is JT3 mad at me. And here's a Princeton graduate who is a very disciplined coach, and anybody who's ever seen and or knows his father knows that discipline was, I don't care if you're Patrick Ewing, the star of the team, or the lowest guy on the team. Everybody was disciplined the same way. And here's a guy who came out of the Red Auerbach School, and so I know that JT3 is a guy who doesn't put up with this kind of stuff, and so it'll be interesting to see how many of these guys come back from China and actually are on the team when they return, because they will. They've gotten in problems with, when they've had some fights in practice, and there's been guys who've been let go of the team. So it'll be interesting to see the shakeout of this. It's an unfortunate circumstance by, all matters, but the key situation, I guess, at this point is to make sure that the right punishment is handed out to the right guys for whatever they did, no matter what the circumstances.
And the timing of the vice president being in China, visiting the troops in Beijing, trying to prove the relationship between the 2 nations, also probably not so lucky, right?
I don't know. Given Joe's temper, I'm surprised Biden wasn't involved in the fight.
Wow.
No, I shouldn't say that. But anyway, no. It was an unfortunate circumstance, and whether the vice president, the whole situation. It's an ugly circumstance, and unfortunately, those kind of things happen. I've seen them happen before, where it's happened with other international circumstances where teams from other countries get into fistfights in what normally is supposed to be a civil situation where you're showing that we're all here to get along. Well, oops, it didn't work.
Right, that's for sure. And last question, Jim, before we let you go. Mike Jacobs suspended the 50 games for taking HGH. The Rockies release him. So the Rockies trying to send a message to their players that we're not going to mess around with this. If you're caught, you're gone. You're not going to pull Emmanuel Ramirez and do a couple months of vacation and then come back because you're just that good. If you're caught cheating, you're done. Do you think other teams will follow the Rockies' example?
I really don't know. I mean, it'd been interesting to find out if that player was Tulowitzki. You know.
It says here Mike Jacobs. Mike Jacobs, who was not, and this is very fascinating because he wasn't that good. Basically, was kind of hanging around the minor leagues.
Mike Jacobs was he was a journeyman player for the team. I mean, it wasn't, you know, if they're using him as a
example,
you know, as a to make a point, they're basically using someone. As I said, if you get rid of Troy Tulowitzki, your best player, after, you know, he's using HGH, and you say you release him, that's making a statement. Getting rid of this guy is basically saying, you know, first and foremost, we don't we're getting rid of a small contract and a player who, you know, are we making a statement? I guess you are, but at the same time, you're making a statement with somebody that is not an intricate part of your team.
Okay, so I hear that.
So it's kind of interesting. It's kind of easy to make that. It's kind of easy to make that statement when you're getting rid of someone who you likely wouldn't have fought for in the first place.
Okay, great point. So very interesting that they didn't really go on a limb by getting rid of Mike Jacobs, and I guess, you know, whatever it's worth. I don't know. I mean, is the testing effective? Is this a proof the testing is effective, or are there guys out there that are ahead of the testing, and that's why Mike Jacobs is the first player suspended, and there's other guys getting away with this then?
Well, I mean, no matter, I think what we've seen, if anything, over the years, is that there's always going to be people ahead of the curve on this. You know, if there's a way to get around it, there will be people who figure out ways to get around it. So, yeah, there's probably guys out there who are doing it who are not going to get caught. There are people always ahead of that particular curve, unfortunately. But I think that baseball, like all sports, you know, when you get involved in drug testing, just like the NFL is going to get involved with the HGH situation soon, there's going to be those people that you look at and say, all right, where do they fall in this particular category? And I think that we're going to find out that you know, there's going to be some tough circumstances where teams are going to have players who may very well be a star player on their team, and then what do you do? You know, the leagues are going to have to issue the types of penalties that cause these guys not to want to enter into doing these kind of drugs, because they're bad for them. They're bad for, you know, young kids who try to take them to make themselves a little bit better, get a little bit of an edge, whatever that they think they can do. And so, no, there's nothing good that can happen from this. And if it ends up from a situation where people get penalized and are no longer in the sport because of it, well, then, you know, they have no one to blame but themselves.
Absolutely. Great point. Jim Williams, pleasure as always. Jim Williams from the Washington Examiner. Thanks so much for being on Louis Live today.
Always a pleasure. You all have a wonderful Shabbat, and we'll talk to you next week. And by next week, we may have some more, you know, football news for you, and some more soccer news, and some all kinds of fun stuff.
Sounds good. Thanks so much. Shabbat shalom to you as well. We'll definitely be in touch.
Okay, take care.
All right, that was Jim Williams from the Washington Examiner. We'll take a commercial break, and when we come back, Joe Robbins after this.
Offering the best of Israel at the best price, Shalom Israel Tours can help you make your next trip to Israel the adventure of a lifetime. Shalom Israel Tours will customize a trip to Israel for your family or group. Specializing in bar mitzvah packages, outdoor adventure vacations, wine tours, and more, Shalom Israel Tours is sure to inspire. So whether you're looking for a customized trip, a day tour, or a car rental, Shalom Israel Tours is here to help. Email us at inspire@shalomisraeltours.com or click the banner on the Israel Sports Radio homepage, and soon you will find yourself yourself in Israel. That's Shalom Israel Tours, www.shalomisraeltours.com.
Are you ready to get serious about your health and fitness? iFit trainers provide one-on-one personal training and put together the best fitness program to get the right results for you. Find your I in fit. We offer certified personal trainers with elite athletic experience and flexible hours at the convenience of your own home. Classes are offered in English and in Hebrew. We serve Jerusalem and the surrounding areas. For more information and to schedule your first workout session, call Alyssa at 054-759-7280 or email Alyssa, ELISSA, at i-fit.co.il. Visit us at www.i-fit.co.il or click on the iFit banner on the Israel Sports Radio homepage.
Feeling overwhelmed with all you have to do? Let your personal shopper help. Connie is an experienced gift shopper and can help free up your day. Connie can assist you in finding the perfect gift for your upcoming simchas or pick up those light items at the grocery. And don't forget, if you are in the area of the Israel Center on Karen HaYesod, stop by on Monday or Tuesday between 8:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. to check out all the great gifts Connie has to offer. For more information, call 02-654-2155 or email Connie at netvision.net.il. Don't forget to check out her great website at www.chaniesgifts.com.
Israel Sports Dynamic specializes
Offering the best of Israel at the best price, Shalom Israel Tours can help you make your next trip to Israel the adventure of a lifetime. Shalom Israel Tours will customize the trip to Israel for your family or group. Specializing in bar mitzvah packages, outdoor adventure vacations, wine tours, and more, Shalom Israel Tours is sure to inspire. So whether you're looking for a customized trip, a day tour, or a car rental, Shalom Israel Tours is here to help. Email us at inspire@shalomisraeltours.com or click the banner on the Israel Sports Radio homepage, and soon you will find yourself in Israel. That's Shalom Israel Tours, www.shalomisraeltours.com.
Are you ready to get serious about your health and fitness? iFit trainers provide one-on-one personal training and put together the best fitness program to get the right results for you. Find your I in fit. We offer certified personal trainers with elite athletic experience and flexible hours at the convenience of your own home. Classes are offered in English and in Hebrew. We serve Jerusalem and the surrounding areas. For more information and to schedule your first workout session, call Alyssa at 054-759-7280 or email Alyssa, ELISSA, at i-fit.co.il. Visit us at www.i-fit.co.il or click on the iFit banner on the Israel Sports Radio homepage.
Feeling overwhelmed with all you have to do? Let your personal shopper help. Connie is an experienced gift shopper and can help free up your day. Connie can assist you in finding the perfect gift for your upcoming simchas or pick up those light items at the grocery. And don't forget, if you are in the area of the Israel Center on Karen HaYesod, stop by on Monday or Tuesday between 8:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m. to check out all the great gifts Connie has to offer. For more information, call 02-654-2155 or email Connie at netvision.net.il. Don't forget to check out her great website at www.chaniesgifts.com.
Israel Sports Dynamic specializes in football consulting, equipment, uniforms, and more. Great brands such as Nike, Russell Athletics, Schutt Sports Products, and many more. Just one call away. With over 30 years coaching experience with university and professional athletes, Terry Hill, owner of ISD, can advise you for all your sports needs. Call 054-581-3248. That's 054-581-3248 or visit our website at www.isdisrael.com. If that's not easy enough, click on the ISD banner on the Israel Sports Radio website and be part of the game.
All right, back on Louis Live. Thank you so much for joining us. Our next guest is a frequent contributor to the Jerusalem Post and our correspondent in the United States. That would be Joe Robbins. Joe, how you doing today?
I'm good, thanks, Ari. Always a pleasure to come on. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We'd love to have you on, and a lot of great stuff to talk about with you. Let's start first with the interesting interview Mike Vick gave, where he talks about the Eagles were not his first decision. And I found this quite fascinating because we know that Mark Sanchez did this interview with GQ where he talked about how he wanted to fight Rex Ryan when he first met him and got to know him. So I find it a little weird that these players are saying stuff against their teams before the season starts. Is this one of these things where they're getting out bad blood before the season starts, and then once the season goes in, they get in their role, they get in their comfort zone, and then everything is good?
Yeah, I don't really know. I'm as baffled by it as you are. I think the Vic thing, well, I was going to say I think the Vic thing isn't as weird as the Sanchez thing, because what Vic was saying was he didn't want to come back into the league after coming out of jail for the dog fighting conviction and all of that. He didn't want to come back into the league as a third-string quarterback.
Right.
So he behind McNabb and Kevin Cobb, so he wasn't happy. And Sanchez was saying, in the beginning, I wanted to fight my coach and all that stuff he said. So the Vic thing makes a little bit of sense looking back in terms of that. But then I guess the Sanchez one does too, if those were his initial feelings. But the question is, why do you say that?
Right.
Even if that's the truth and you're Mark Sanchez, when someone asks you, how's your relationship with your coach, you say, great.
Right.
I mean, so it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Now, Sanchez is a young guy, so maybe he just wasn't prepared for it. But having said that, he lives in probably the most media-vicious city in the country, in New York City, and deals with the media all the time. So, yeah, pretty surprising move from him. And Vic, I think, is, I'm not sure why he said it, but at least it's an understandable situation at the time. It's kind of funny for us to hear now, though, because the two teams he mentioned were the Cincinnati Bengals and the Buffalo Bills. And I think he could have improved each team, definitely, but he still would not have been anywhere close to the playoffs, and probably wouldn't have had a very good season in Buffalo with the team they had around him. So, the Eagles obviously were the right decision, and everything has worked out for him. Hindsight's 20/20, but kind of funny that the other two teams he mentioned were terrible teams.
He got the stroke of luck he got. I've seen this a few times in sports where, like you mentioned, the third-string quarterback, and just so happens injury in a trade, and then he's there, and he has one of the best seasons of his career, if not the finest of his career, and totally turns around his image. Now, Joe, we all know about the story from Miami, Mr. Shapiro not making us look good, and I say us, I mean remember the Tribe, because apparently he gave some money to some players. I have an idea about this. When Jews do shady stuff, there needs to be some type of committee. And you go to this committee, and you say, hey, this Shapiro guy, go check him out. We need to get him away from these players because he's going to bring down a program and make us look bad. What do you think, Joe? Can we put together some type of committee like that?
That sounds good to me. I mean, unfortunately, so many of the people doing these things made off Shapiro. People know about Shapiro now for this, obviously, but the reason he's serving 20 years in jail is for his part in a $930 million Ponzi scheme.
Right.
So, so all these guys, it's like, yeah, I think if Jews are the one doing them, not only is your idea for a committee a great idea, but if we're smart enough to think of the plans, we should be smart enough to figure out the people who are doing them and stop them before they happen.
Yeah, because I was thinking in my mind, this guy is milking $930 million. At some point, someone along the way found out about this, and maybe, good reason or not good reason, they were scared, whatever, he's a powerful guy or not, whatever. But if they could just go to some committee, just kind of pass a note, go, Shapiro, Go check them out. Then you stop this happening because this is not looking good. You know what I mean? Shapiro, Madoff, and even the guy from the Rockies, right? It's another Jew that got Jacobs got caught for the HGH. So it's not looking too good for us right now, my man.
I am with you. I think it's a great idea. I am definitely not the muscle that would be able to work on the committee, but maybe I could do some of the investigating.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about this. I'm making a joke, but maybe some out there. I don't know. I would like to see this happen because we're all together, even if we're not happy. We're all together, and bad for. He looks bad. I look bad. It's hard, and I want to sell ads to everybody, and they go, Anyway, it's a whole anti-Semitic thing that whatever. It ain't good. But moving on from that story, I want to go. I asked Jim Williams about this. I'll ask you as well. This brawl. I mean, we're going to talk boxing a little bit, but Georgetown with the Chinese team. I have not seen an NBA brawl like this probably since early '80s or late '70s. I mean, old school guys stomping other people on the ground. Just so happens the vice president was in China. So maybe, though, martial arts is more studied in the Orient, and that's why the fights were a little bit better, because we know NBA players can't fight, right, Joe? So what was the difference this time? Why was this fight a lot more vicious in China?
Yeah, I have no idea. It was just,
brutal.
It was horrific as far as fights go. I mean, it looks like something you see at, in the stands at a Premier League match between, Arsenal and Man U or something. Like, this isn't something that we see enough from the players. It was an international brawl. It comes to mind, I think, last year between, I want to say, two Spanish clubs, and that one was crazy, and someone actually hit someone with a chair.
Geraldo style
but it
there.
wasn't. What?
Geraldo style, it sounds like.
Yeah. I mean, it was all out, but this was everybody, and like you said, and it looked so bad. Just the international incident, not necessarily politically, but you have to wonder if race comes into play and different things, and you've got, Kobe has a great relationship with China. He's getting ready to play over there, depending on this law that China's trying to pass to keep the players from opting out, NBA players from opting out if the season starts. So basically they're saying, we don't want you guys coming over here for a few months, and if the NBA gets its act together, we lose all our big names. So that's the hurdle for Kobe and the other players. But getting back to the brawl, NBA has a great relationship with China, thanks in large part to Yao.
Right.
But also, on the business side, David Stern has really cultivated that relationship and built a nice foundation over there, and the Olympics and everything. So I don't think that this, by no means will this destroy that. There's too much money, and the players like China too much. But, yeah, I mean, even just the screenshots from it, every player, punches being thrown, members of both teams running in with their fists already ready to throw a punch. And I think, I don't know if this is the best thing or the worst thing, but it's definitely telling about the brawl. The referees aren't even in the middle. If the refs aren't in there trying to stop it, it's bad. That something's, that it's something they don't want to be involved in, and they're waiting for the police or whoever to come in and break it up.
That's a great point. That's 100% right. The refs are standing to the side. We want nothing to do with this. We don't care. I know people are getting hurt. We don't care. I'm not getting hit. So, it's a pretty bad brawl. Now, you brought up Kobe Bryant. Kobe got in a little trouble this week. Apparently, a fan he thought was taking a picture of him on a cell phone. He grabbed the cell phone from the gentleman's hand and his wrist, saw there were no pictures, then returned it. So anything can happen with Kobe. I mean, we know Kobe's gotten away with some bigger things than taking a man's cell phone. Is Kobe pretty much going to be in the clear on this?
I think so. I mean, the guy might sue him, and the guy will probably catch some flack for it. But, I think the guy, if you're going to sue, this is the time you sue for better or worse. I think Kobe, it's understandable, especially with camera phones these days, and he was at church with his family, but understandable or not, it doesn't make it okay. It was unfortunate the guy got hurt, and I think we all know why Kobe did it. You're at a religious service with your family, and you think a guy is saying, hey, there's Kobe Bryant, and he's interrupting you. But again, that doesn't make it okay. I don't think there will be any type of criminal action, but I wouldn't be surprised if the guy got a little bit of money out of it.
Yeah,
but
why not?
I think just because the fact that there were no pictures, and Kobe grabbed it so it wasn't like the pictures had been deleted. So it was Kobe's misunderstanding, and the guy, went to the hospital and did have the wrist injury. I'm sure it's nothing serious, but I think because, he was injured and he hadn't been taking the pictures, he can win a suit. But it won't be anything. I would be shocked if it was anything big, or if we even hear about it again after next week, unless something like that happens.
Yeah,
down the line.
Well, Joe, when I was saying why not, I meant, hey, why not, it's a sue-happy society. It's Kobe Bryant. He makes $25 million a year.
Right.
You know what? He might get 50 to 100. I mean, you never know, especially how bad the wrist is. Probably going to, like you said, wasn't too serious, but tells you the strength of a professional athlete, where he grabbed the wrist to get the phone, and the guy had to go to the hospital anyways. Now, I want to make this point with Kobe Bryant, in that a lot on his mind, obviously, and he's at church, and it's funny, because in my mind, when he said that about him being at church, that he looked at the guy and maybe said, hey, man, I'm trying to freaking pray to God. Give me that. And he insults him, and I think that's weird. But then at the hotel, when people take pictures of people praying, you see someone snap every now and then. So it's not, I guess it was not too out of the ordinary, right?
Right, exactly. There's always that weird fine line between worship and being viewed as an attraction while trying to worship. That, I think it's not surprising that sometimes the two sides clash a little bit.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things, but I've seen it a few times with them, so I'm used to it. All right, my man, now we're getting into boxing. We want to talk about this for a long, long time. Mayweather is fighting again. He'll be fighting Victor Ortiz. Ortiz is younger, bigger, stronger. Floyd, of course, has never lost. Ortiz is not undefeated, but a lot of people will think Ortiz is going to have a shot at this thing. Let's give a quick breakdown to the audience. What's going to happen in September with this fight?
So, yeah, a lot of great press when the fight was announced. Big statements by big people. Roger Mayweather, Floyd Mayweather's trainer and uncle, came out and said Ortiz is better than Pacquiao.
Wow.
I don't think anyone believes that, but Ortiz is 24, so if he beats Mayweather and keeps doing his thing, maybe he could be better than Pacquiao. But, yeah, that was a pretty absurd statement, but it was good for stirring the pot. And also, it was probably the first time ever that someone in the Mayweather camp has praised an opponent. We'll leave out the fact that he praised him to cut a bigger opponent, but still, it was praise for an opponent. But yeah, so that happened, and Mr. Schaefer over at Golden Boy Promotions, Richard Schaefer, the CEO, said he believes that Mayweather Ortiz will be the biggest pay-per-view fight of the year. Ortiz brings the Mexican community, and Mayweather is Mayweather, so a lot of interesting storylines and hype sort of around the fight, and then you get to the actual fight. Mayweather, like you said, he's older. Ortiz is only 24.
Mayweather, I believe, is 34. I believe he's 34. 33.
What?
I believe Mayweather is 34. Correct? He's 10 years older than Ortiz? Okay.
Mayweather's 34. Ortiz is 24, so you've got the 10-year age gap. Mayweather also has not been fighting all that much lately. He did fight Shane Mosley, obviously, and he beat him. But that fight was in May of last year, so this fight is scheduled for September, so it's an 18-month layoff.
Mm-hmm.
But he is Floyd Mayweather. He's 41-0. He's beaten everyone in the field besides Pacquiao. Some of them, like De La Hoya, were later in their careers, but then he also beat, up-and-coming Ricky Hatton and kind of ended his career. Hadn't fought a few times after that, but he was never the same. So, Mayweather definitely needs no justification on his resume. The only asterisk is Pacquiao. Ortiz, on the other hand, is a great champion, really young, and has all the skills to be one of the best for years. So it's a great matchup. And Ortiz's record, 29 wins, 2 losses, and a draw. One of the losses was a disqualification early on his 6th or 7th fight when he was undefeated. It was a disqualification for hitting a guy just after the bell rung.
Okay.
And he was dominating the fight. So really, he should only have the 1 loss, and that was a fluke knockout. So his resume is on the way to being every bit as good as Mayweather's. But I still think you got to go with the champ, and by that I mean Mayweather. He's undefeated for a reason. He's answered any question that people have ever asked about him. He doesn't have the best hands, but that's never hurt him up to this point. And with his defensive style, I think that will be more than enough to counteract Ortiz's size advantage. And Ortiz is definitely young and hungry, which is what, as a fan, you want to see more than anything in terms of a fighter facing the best, other than the 2 best fighting in Pacquiao Mayweather, obviously. But I think Mayweather will use this as a tune-up for Pacquiao. We've spoken before, who knows if the Mayweather-Pacquiao bout will ever happen, but at least if Mayweather does this, he beats the world title holder, and Ortiz is a southpaw just like Pacquiao. So he gets some preparation for that, if that's anything, just knowing that his most recent fight will have been against left-hander. And I think also, Mayweather has retired and unretired a couple times, and I think with his ego as big as it is, and I'm a Mayweather fan for the record, that doesn't influence my decision when picking bouts, but when I talk about his ego and all this stuff, this is as a fan, but everyone in the world of boxing knows that Mayweather, Money Mayweather, and he's flashy, and he has his ego, and it's all about his image. I think his ego is too big to risk losing that image if he didn't think he could win. So obviously it's a risk getting into the ring anytime, whenever you take the ring, but I don't think he would have taken this fight, even with all the money that's fair, if he thought he could lose. And maybe that's a little bit of an indictment on my part on him for why the Pacquiao fight hasn't happened. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with it, but the fact of the matter is that fight hasn't happened, and we know that Mayweather isn't willing to get into a ring that he feels he can lose in. So maybe that's part of it, maybe not, but with this one, I think Ortiz will put up a good fight. I think it should be a good showing because Ortiz is aggressive, Mayweather's defensive, they'll be back and forth, and Ortiz will force Mayweather to throw some punches and not just wait around like Mayweather did against De La Hoya in their Cinco de Mayo bout back in 2008. So I think it should be a really good fight, but I do think that Mayweather will end up taking it and hopefully using it as a tune-up for Pacquiao.
So, it's interesting because you talked about retired, unretired. I remember back when he fought De La Hoya in 07, he said that this is going to be my last opponent. He said that back almost 4.5 years ago. So he likes, a lot of boxers say that. I'm not necessarily going to hold that against him. And when I first saw the preview of this fight on Max Kellerman's great show Face Off, they both get in. You notice Ortiz is the bigger man, a bit muscular, and he had this confidence where I almost got sold, but then I noticed it was too overconfident. Like a man that's insecure, that doesn't believe in himself, doesn't believe he can win or get victory. I started to notice that more and more for Ortiz. I think he'll be very, very nervous going in this fight. This is his first big-time fight. Mayweather's never lost. A big thing for Mayweather, he's a defensive fighter, counterpuncher. So Ortiz will come at him forward, he'll come out with aggression, but Mayweather, I think, will be able to pick off his punches. And the whole limelight, this is a different event, different venue. I think at the end of the night, Mayweather wins unanimous decision. You said Mayweather's going to win. Do you think it'll be decision or knockout?
I think it'll be a late knockout. I think that whereas he normally would have, in a fight like this, and knowing Mayweather's style, I think normally he would have just done what he did in the De La Hoya bout, for example, or some of his other fights where he went on points. I think he'll go for the knockout in this fight because if he gets it, it's a message to the world. Again, going back to his ego, and then also tying into the Pacquiao fight. Mayweather is off of all top 10 pound-for-pound lists. He's not ranked anymore on BoxRec.com, Boxing Record super site. He's not ranked in the Ring Magazine Yahoo Sports poll, not on ESPN, and that's because he hasn't fought in so long. So I think he's going to come back, and he knows that if he knocks Ortiz out, he'll probably be number 2 on the list to Pacquiao still, but he'll announce his return with a vengeance. And I think that's something that, we always hear college football coaches. Nick Saban is probably the most famous for it just because his teams are there every year, and Coach K also for college basketball with Duke. But they always say the rankings don't matter. It's about what happens. Well, I think the ranking does matter to Mayweather because he believes that he's the best in the world, and he wants everybody, even outside of boxing, to know it. So I think he comes in and he says, I'm not messing around here. I'm getting in the ring because I know I can beat this kid, and I'm going to show everyone it's the truth, and I'm going to knock him back to last week and take it down. So having said that, I think it will be a good fight, so I think it'll be a late round knockout, maybe 10th round, but I think Mayweather, assuming he wins, will take care of business and get the knockout to show everybody he's back.
All right, so we got you down for a knockout in the 10th. I got the decision. We'll see what happens in September. It will be a great fight, and this was a great interview. I hope you like that segue there, Joe. Joe Robbins, our American correspondent, frequent contributor to the Jerusalem Post. Thanks so much for being on Louis Live tonight.
Thank you, Ari. It was great as usual.
All right. Be well, my friend. We'll definitely be in touch, and I'll talk to you later on.
All right. Thanks, Ari.
All right. That was Joe Robbins. That concludes our show. Man, that was jam-packed. Good golly gracious. Whew. I'm exhausted from all that. Hope everyone enjoyed it. Hope everyone had fun. 4 guests tonight on Louis Live. Want to thank Barry Kaplan for coming in studio talking about tours in Israel. Definitely get in touch with Mr. Kaplan. Dina Penner for analyzing me and saying that I am a weirdo. I certainly appreciate that. 11 o'clock, Jim Williams from the Washington Examiner. Good. Our people, man. I got to tell you. Shapiro, Madoff, all you Jews out there that are scamming, stop it. Do teshuva. Pay back the money you stole. Get it right. You're making us look bad. And, of course, Joe Robbins. What can you say? The man knows his boxing. He says Mayweather in the 10th. I might change my prediction. I usually do not. But when it comes to Joe, he's pretty good about this stuff. He's pretty accurate. Right now, I saw Mayweather unanimous decision. Either way, it'll be a great fight. We'll look forward to that. We'll try to get both fighters on tonight's program. That's it. It's all right. God bless and good night.